So earlier in this video, you also seen the phone 2, but that wasn't the final version. This is the final version. So it's really exciting to see this for the first time. I don't think you're gonna be able to see any difference on camera, but yeah, if you hold it for yourself, you can see some small differences. It's great to finally feel this in your hands. So this is one of our production sites. We have another one in Chennai in India. In London, we spoke to Adam about design, but let's dive a little bit deeper. We knew that we had created an icon with the phone 1. So for the phone 2, it was important for us to develop that design story further. The phone 2 has been all about refinement. Visually, we've evolved the look. With higher resolution textures and upgraded geometry and more consistent coloring, this feels way more refined than the phone 1. It took over 50 prototypes to get what we believe to be perfect. In fact, this is prototype number 54. When I held this for the first time, I knew that we made a worthy successor to the phone 1. It doesn't just look more premium, more importantly, it feels more premium in the hand. With a slimmer mid-frame and a rounded pillow glass back, the phone just feels way more ergonomic and satisfying to hold. As you can see, we kept the same symmetrical bezels as on the phone 1, but we made them even slimmer. We've also moved the selfie camera from the side to the middle to give you that satisfying and symmetrical look. The phone 2 display is way more advanced. With LTPO technology, it can automatically change its refresh rate from 1 Hz to 120 Hz depending on the scenario. So for instance, on our always-on display, it runs at 1 Hz, which is super power efficient. And speaking about power, we've further reduced the power consumption of the display by 30% by switching to a new and more advanced IC with smaller transistors. Finally, this upgraded display features better consistency, color reproduction, and motion in low light. This is a flagship display in its true sense. Let's talk about performance. So the processor plays a big role here. For the phone 2, we added the best-in-class and proven Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, upgrading from a 7 series processor on the phone 1. Overall performance has improved by 80% and app opening speeds are twice as fast as before. We've also increased the battery capacity by 200 milliamp hours and made the software more efficient. It's hard to put a fixed number on something like battery life because we all use our phones differently, but personally I get about 40% more compared to the phone 1. So here is where we test and install the camera. I've been living with the phone 2 for the last couple of months, and I can confidently say that this camera can go up against any flagship out there. Smartphone cameras have gotten really good in the last couple of years, and when the light conditions are great, anybody can take a good photo. However, it gets more complicated in edge cases. And usually there's only 2 ways to go, hardware and software. When it comes to hardware, it's all about increasing the sensor size or the size of the lens so you can capture more light. However, these decisions come with trade-offs because you need to change your design. Maybe your design has to be bigger or thicker, and these are compromises we have to think really carefully about. On the front is our biggest sensor upgrade. We now have the 32 megapixel Sony IMX615, double the megapixel count, and a 30% larger sensor size than on the phone 1. And on the back, we've upgraded the 50 megapixel main sensor to Sony IMX890. The main advantage for this new sensor is that it's faster and can deliver up to 4,000 times more data to the ISP. Or you can focus on the software, tuning and computational photography. We believe in doing both, but as a tech company, we believe we should focus more on the software side. We focused on 2 key challenging camera scenarios, dynamic range and motion. Say for instance you're on holiday somewhere sunny. Your subject is standing in the shadows, meanwhile the background is quite bright. You take a photo of your subject, it turns out fine, but then you realize that the background is overexposed. The photo becomes useless. Our new advanced HDR allows you to capture a higher dynamic range to solve this. All you have to do is point and shoot. In the background, the phone 2 is capturing the same scene in 8 frames with different levels of exposure in the raw domain, which results in 3 times more data processed compared to the phone 1. Advanced HDR selects the best details from each image and then fuses it together for the most true-to-life result. Let's move on to motion. Normally when there's movement in the subject you're capturing, it can result in a blurry photo, which is really frustrating because you don't get to relive that moment again. For this, we've upgraded our motion detecting algorithms to more accurately detect moving subjects so you can get that clear shot every time. These days, people are using their smartphones to capture more and more video, and I'm happy to say that we made similar improvements across the board when it comes to the video capabilities of the phone 2 as well. Our vision for the smartphone camera is one that's easy to use and can be trusted. And with the phone 2, we made a big leap forward.
Okay, Carl, so we need you to do like a Casey-style match cut. We're not going to be with you on the other side, so just put your hands up and then just have an awareness of where your hands are, okay?
Oh, so much work. Hey, going on?
Welcome back.
Long time no see.
What are you doing? You filming?
Yeah, we're shooting the keynote. What are you working on?
OS 2. These are headphones.
Do you have a few minutes to talk more in depth about the Nothing OS 2.0?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do that.
If you were to summarize the current state of mobile OS in like one sentence, how would you do that?
Nothing much changed. We still have a very similar structure. We had the first glimpse of the iPhone, right? I mean, we have company logos on the home screen, page system, grid. It's very linear, and our home screens are becoming cluttered. So we need to figure out how we're going to facilitate all of that, right? This is the first time we actually have injected that Nothing DNA into the OS. But now 2.0 is elevating our design, our brand, design language.
What are the headline features that you're excited about?
Obviously, what the user is going to see first is this bold, monochromatic design, right? We really want the user to be intentional about what they're doing, straightforward, minimal.
Our phone home screen is basically like a canvas for advertising.
Yeah.
Every app has their own colors, their own logo, and we're just like scrolling through a lot of ads every day.
Yeah.
I think stripping back the colors is kind of like removing some of the power from those apps and giving it back to the consumer.
Yeah.
Just looking at this, everything feels quite organized, even in like different form factors.
Yeah, you have this very clean, symmetrical grid. We just took it a step back.
Grids exist already, so what's different?
Take a look at an Android phone. There's so much customization going on. And that's fine. We have the responsibility to design all of these widgets to fit together, right?
While we're on the topic of widgets, what are the ones that you're most proud of?
My personal favorite is the pedometer. It's a very funny way how we did it.
Any other widgets that you want to highlight?
Screen time is pretty interesting. Again, it's done in our fashion. So bringing all of these widgets to OS 2.0 and expanding it is gonna be a major stepping stone in the right direction. Brings functionality, it empowers the user, it's more intentional use, and yeah, we're very, very proud of it.
Sounds very exciting.
It is.
Beyond just having a beautiful and well thought through operating system, the basics just need to really work. App opening speeds, animation speeds, motion design, these things all contribute. But in addition to that, I think a lot of work has to be done on the battery life optimization while not sacrificing performance. So I think we're in a really exciting time in our development. So last year with the Phone 1, we just focused on releasing something clean, stable. With the Phone 2, this is the first time that we're able to introduce some of our own ideas into the OS, but the real test will come when the users actually get the phone.
Yeah, no pressure.
All right. Thanks for this.
What's next?
It's time to ship. Well, that's the Phone 2. In these videos, you always see a couple of people talking about the product, but in reality, there's hundreds of people behind the scenes working together to deliver all these products that we launch. So I wanted to extend a big thank you to the entire Nothing team for coming together on this mission and building this product together. Also, a big thank you to the community for helping us test and perfect the product as we were developing it. And finally, a huge thank you to everybody who believes in Nothing. We're a passionate team with a really exciting roadmap ahead of us. There's a lot to look forward to, but today is all about the Phone 2. I'm confident you're gonna love it, and I can't wait to hear your feedback.
Carl, just a question. After this experiment, do you feel more fun?
I've always been fun.
Fantastic.
He was laughing and smiling on this one, guys. I think we've had some breakthroughs today.
The Phone 2 launches worldwide this week, starting with drops in London and New York. I hope you'll be there in person. For more information on the specifics, go to nothing.tech, where you can also pre-order and get info on exclusives.